everyone, it's Meg at Chasing Retro. At long last, I'm able to share with you my finished giraffe journal, the one that I decided to make and keep for myself to write down my memories of giraffes through my childhood and into my own children's childhood. They grew up loving animals as well, maybe not as much as I did with the giraffe, but they do enjoy the giraffe and they appreciate my affection for the giraffe. So I put a couple of pictures representing their childhood in as well. If you remember a long time ago in my Way Back When Inspires Me Again challenge, I showed you Wally. This is my baby toy. You can see the foam inside. He was made of terry cloth. He's not really much terry cloth anymore. He's very worn down, but he has a bell, and this was one of my very first toys, and you'll see Wally in this book as well. So I'm going to display Wally with this book on my shelf, and you'll see my display shelves this week in a craft area tour that I hope to put up. So let me show you right now the journal itself. It is made out of an Amazon mailer, the plastic ones, so that's why it's crinkly. And I wrapped it with a calico fabric. It's one signature, but it's very fat, and it's sewn in here. This, if you'll remember in the other flip-throughs, this was a greeting card that I used. I sort of just tucked into the other journals, but I decided to make it my topper because I loved it so much, and it kind of goes with the scrapbooking theme, not scrapbooking, journaling theme, because it's talking about writing down things. I just did a little cluster here with some fabric and a little felt daisy. I decided to make a tie using the last piece I had of this yellow measuring tape ribbon. I have more, but it's sort of a pastel, where it changes colors. I forgot, variegated. But I just had a little bit left of the yellow, so I wanted to use it because it matched the yellow perfectly. So let me show you what is inside. It is chock full. A lot of the things that are in here are very similar or exactly like the ones that were in the other journals, but because this was a journal that I can keep and I'm not selling, I was able to use some images that I found on Pinterest and other just scanned vintage retro giraffes that I found online that are probably copyright. So if you see anything like that, just know that it is for me to keep, and it's okay if you do that for personal use as far as I know. Here's just a little card, and Carol from Crinkled Path sent me this thread flosser, and so I put that in there, and then I stamped with some alphabet stamps that I have, long story short, just like in the other journals. And this is a flip up tag using an image from, I think this is from Childcraft. And then this is an image from a Reader's Digest children's book. I love how he's completely poked through the tree. And I think that was another sad story. I want to say that it was a story about a giraffe that was born with a very short neck. I don't know how it got long, but it was very sad, so I only used the last picture. I used another part of this in the other journal, one of the other two, but this is a cake from a very old cake decorating magazine. And whoever got the other part got the giraffe's head. But I decided to make it into a sort of catty corner pocket. And this is an image I believe Carol at Crinkled Path sent me. It looks like it might be from a vintage cookbook because it's porridge, and I think it had a recipe on the back. And this is one of my Frankentags. This is actually a fall Frankentag, but the colors work perfectly for these. So, and then I put some fringe on the edge there. On this side, I put a little piece of the gift wrap that Carol sent me. I think I folded it, yeah. I guess I should put him on top because he's complete. And then a little sheet of orange notepad and just a little sheet of scrapbooking paper with trees. And this is some trim. I don't remember who sent this to me, but it's been a long time since I've had this. and this was the perfect journal for it, minus the pink, but the yellow and the orange match perfectly. I guess the pink matches the wrapping paper. This is from a giraffe and a half, which I got from Sierra at Cooley Craft Corner. So thank you, Sierra. I put a page from that book in each journal. Lots of journaling spots here. And here's a little piece of brown eyelet and a giraffe dangle, just like I put in the other ones. Here we have one of the note cards, just like I put in the other ones. This is an orange. HMK LLC. Maybe that's Hallmark. I don't know. And then this is a tag that was sent to me in Happy Mail, so I decided to keep this one and use it in my journal. I love to keep some of the Happy Mails that come. I mean, I do pass a lot of it on in my journals that I sell, but I really like to have sort of a record of all the things that people send to me in my own personal journals, because it just reminds me of the friendships that I have. This is another book that I got in Happy Mail that was shaped. So to make it fit, I folded it in. Okay, here are a couple of photographs. So I put them in here with photo corners so that I can pop them out and journal on the back. But this is me as a very, very small baby. And as you can see, I had a bumper pad that had giraffes and other safari type animals. And here's Wally. I mean, he looks great in that photograph. He is not aged so well, but he's still very loved. And I'm laying on him because he's kind of like a pillow, I guess. This was my mom and dad bought me a Sears catalog crib and dresser set. And that's what I am in this. And I'm sure all of these sheets and everything also came from Sears or JCPenney. Those were my mom's favorite stores. Here are two more photographs. I got this Fisher Price, no, it was Play School wooden ride-on giraffe toy for Christmas. I'm more interested in the Basset Hound here, but you can still see the giraffe in the back. And here's my dad. He's sitting behind me, and he just kind of plopped me on it. I have an 8mm video of me on this little guy too, but obviously I couldn't put a video in the junk journal. But I think he's cute. I don't think I named him. This is just the flap of an envelope. And then I got this page in Happy Mail too, and I loved it, so I put it in here. And I love the back too. So I just wanted to, this just reminds me of a lot of the books that I read as a child, the type of illustration, the little dots and all of that. I remember so many of my books looking like that. Here is a whale tail that I got from Carrie the paper monkey, and this plaid matches perfectly. This is a playing card. I put one of these in each journal. And this is, somebody else got the other half, 3/4 of his face, really. So I put his eye in here. And this is a flashcard that I received from my aunt when she was going through her art stuff. And then here is another page I got in Happy Mail with the misbehaving animals. I guess there are misbehaving people in here as well, but then I put a little bit of this trim here. I think Carol gave me this as well. And here's a crocheted daisy on this little bag. And here I have a little giraffe sticker and a yellow heart and a playing card. This is from a Bible story book. I love the purple next to the green. And then Carol made this little bookmark giraffe, sort of origami style, and put her name here. So I wanted to keep this because this was special to me that she made this for me. And I just took him on the corner. His little horns and ears kind of pop out of the book. Here's another picture of me as a tot, and I'm still loving that Play School ride-on giraffe. Here's a fabric tab. I got this from Carol also. This is from maybe a highlights. And the back was not giraffe themed, so I covered it with fabric and made a pocket. This is a digital, and this is a digital. And this is a candy wrapper that our daughter received in a big box of Japanese candy we gave her for Christmas a couple years ago. And she knows that I like giraffes, so she gave this to me, and I've had it ever since. Yeah, 2022 I think was when we gave it to her. So it finally has a place in the journal. Here is a flashcard. Look at that. Or I guess an info card. This is one of the other journals got the big giraffe, and I put the little baby in the basket in my journal. And this is just from another children's book. I tried to use all the scraps that I pulled as much as I could. Not that I don't have anything else to use them with, but I decided some of the tags and cards in these journals should have some colored backs for writing on instead of just manila or white. This is from a childcraft book. It's sort of an odd, weird looking giraffe. I wasn't sure anyone else would like him, so I decided to put him in my journal. He's made out of clay and pipe cleaners and a pencil. His neck is a pencil, and I put the little instructions here. This is actually a scan of it says 1975. This was a measuring chart, height chart, that my mom had in my room when I was a baby until I outgrew it, which was probably when I was about 7 or 8. But it is a giraffe. There's his feet, and I printed his head on one side and his feet on the other. And the color didn't come through great. It's sort of a light brown, sort of a sepia. But obviously it's been very folded, I mean, goodness gracious, it's 46 years old, so it's been through a lot. But I took it out of my keepsake box and scanned it and then put it back for safekeeping. And then here is a fabric cluster that Carrie at the Paper Monkey made me. And I put a top value stamp, or I guess it's a stamp, coupon stamp. I vintage distressed the edges of everyone else's but mine. I forgot, and I realized it after I glued it down. But that's okay. This is a picture of, you guys are probably having flashbacks like crazy. Do y'all remember at putt-putt places, they would have these elaborate displays? And this was, I believe, at Myrtle Beach, probably around 1983 or so, 84, 83. My dad was a youth pastor, and I got to go on a youth beach trip. And we went to a water park one night, and we went to a putt-putt place one night, and this was the giraffes. I don't know. I don't think I took this picture because I would have only been about 5, but I bet my mom and dad took it knowing that I liked giraffes. So I put him in here. This is the Rolodex card that I printed, What's Up? And this is a digital that is copyright, but it came from a vintage greeting card, I think. This is from an old children's magazine, some children at the zoo. And I put it on metallic paper, which I don't like using very much because if you get glue on this, the Fabri-Tac literally takes the foil off. It's so weird. And then this is from, I don't remember where I found this. I don't know why they're afraid, but they're all huddled up together and the monkey's grabbing a hold of the giraffe. This is just a little Tim Holtz yardstick. And then this is a vintage baby card with a little giraffe. So I put that in here because, you know, my love of giraffes started about that time. This is some fabric that I received in Happy Mail, and I got this in Happy Mail as well. Here are some buttons in the center. And then I did a little cluster using the last little bit of the snippet roll tie that I made for the other 2 journals. Here is a page from Highlights magazine that actually belonged to my mom, which is super, super special that I can put it back into a journal for myself. And it's a giraffe playing a cello, and I think that's really funny. This is another one of those vintage images I found on Pinterest. He has roller skates on. A fabric tag. Carol gave me this flanogram giraffe probably 2 years ago, and I have had it in a giraffe folder since then. So they finally have a place to live. It's kind of hard to make their legs do what they're supposed to do, but it's all good. Let's put the tag on top. And then this is just a little, I think I got this in a, I scanned it rather from a Humpty Dumpty magazine or Jack and Jill. It might have been Jack and Jill. And here is another little image from, this might be from the Child's, I think it's called the Child's Bookshelf series, but it's a giraffe like a giraffe pop-up card. I put a little felt G on there. This is a giraffe tag that I made out of a encyclopedia page, I believe someone sent me. And this is a greeting card someone sent me. It is a highlights card. I don't know how old, I'm guessing 90s. But it's a bunch of animals learning all about people. This is a flip up, and I realized after I glued it down that the only thing I'm going to be able to use in here to write with is a white pen, but that's okay. And this is a fabric tag and a playing card. I think all of the journals got one of these. And this is a Bible book page with the ark. And this is just another, I think this was a science book, and it was about weather. I guess it's about the atmospheric layers or something. I don't remember. I didn't look at it closely. Here is another picture. I did not take this. I found this online. This is a vintage Toys R Us sign that would have been next to the road. So Toys R Us was a big part of my childhood. I remember when they first opened in our city. We lived in Greensboro, North Carolina, and the first Toys R Us opened, I want to say 1985, maybe early 86. And it was in the summer, which was like the perfect time to open a toy store. And it was during the time where, I think it was every Wednesday morning, you could go to the free movies. And like now, I think it's dollar movies, but back then it was free summer movies. So my mom took my best friend and I to the summer movie, which was probably The Goonies or Benji the Hunted or For the Love of Benji or what was the other one? Neverending Story. That was one of our favorites. And then afterwards, she surprised us by taking us to the new Toys R Us. And I remember it being so white and clean and bright. Like all the floors were white. Everything was just organized. The aisles were so wide. There were just toys. I had never been in a toy store that big. You know, we had KB Toys in the mall. And then we had toy outlets in Burlington, North Carolina that we used to go to. But I had never been in the store, a store the size of a grocery store that only sold toys. And it was quite the thrill. And my mom told me that she would buy each of us one baby pound puppy. I think they were called Kennel Cuddlies. So my best friend and I got to pick one of those. And that was my first purchase from Toys R Us. I'm really sad that they're gone now. Here's some giraffes. And then this is another little journaling card. And this is one of the tags that Sierra made for me. And here's a dictionary definition. This is the back of the sheet with the creation story, but I did not have the heart to cover up this because it's so beautiful. I think it's the 23rd Psalm. And then this came from a highlights story. Do y'all remember the stories where it would tell you, it sort of taught you how to read with little pictures? And here's the bag again. I put a digital on here, and then here's one of those cards with the Brad. A dry cleaning tag. I got this in Happy Mail, and I think it looks like one of those things you cut apart in a paper kit, like a scrapbook kit. And this is a image from Pinterest. I think it was a vintage greeting card. This little funny guy, I don't remember where I found him, but that just made me laugh out loud. So he's there. And then I took a dictionary definition and cut it apart and put it there. Here is, so my sister was born around Christmas time. We were about 8 years apart. So I was having a little bit of trouble with, going from an only child to not. So my mom and dad bought me this baby that is like a puppet. You put your hand in the baby blanket and then you can move the head and the hands. So I was holding this new baby. My grandpa was holding my new sister, and I decided to share Wally with her, which was probably a very big deal. So my mom took that picture and I love it. So I had to put it in here. Okay, so this is Jeffrey the giraffe. This is how he looked in the early to mid 2000s. I'm not a huge fan of this type of character, but it is still Jeffrey the giraffe. And the reason I put this in here is because this is in Greenville, which is in my state. I've been to this park several times. It's called Falls Park, and this is the Reedy River, and it kind of empties out in this spot. And they built this beautiful suspension bridge. You can't really see much of it because he's at the beginning. It's a suspension bridge that you walk over the falls, and evidently it was a big deal because Jeffrey came to Greenville and there was a photo shoot. My kids were little, but I didn't know it was happening, so we didn't go. But I found a picture on a news site, so I put it in here. This is some more fringe. This is the envelope that you saw the other side of on the first part of the journal. And then here's another Pinterest image. This is a little cartoon. And this is from a reader. And this is a flip-up tag, and I put a little thing that says, "I am fabulous." This is from a decoupage book that I've had since, oh my goodness, probably 2000. I got into decoupage for a while. And the images are very Victorian and antique, so I don't use them much in my journals, but there was a giraffe, so I had to use them. Here's a tab with a little tassel. Another fold-out shaped page. This is some dyed paper that I got from Lovely's Crafting Lodge. It's the saffron dyed paper, I think. And a fabric flip. And last but not least, this is my adorable little hand of my son, who he was probably 3.5 or 4. So they had this gigantic tub, you can see it there, we called it the plastic animal tub. We took that thing everywhere. We took it outside in the backyard. We took it on field trips. We took it when we went to the Reedy River Park. And they would set up little, environments or landscapes, biomes for these little animals. And they would feed them. So he's feeding him grass. I think we still have him in the attic. But I wanted to remember this, so I put this in there. And then this is in our local zoo. I have not been there in many years, but I believe this giraffe is still there. That was when it was not too, I think he wasn't even a year old at that point. And this envelope, this pocket here is, I didn't even show that on the front. This is fabric ribbon that I found at Recraft long time ago. And I just put everything in here that either I didn't want to cut down, or I just wanted it in the journal, but I didn't really know how to incorporate it. So here's a piece of wallpaper border that Carol sent me, and here is a page from a alphabet book. And here, Jonna sent this to me. The Preppy Crafty Girl, Jonna. So thank you, Jonna, for this. This is from one of those Fisher-Price magnetic chalkboard toys. School desk. It was called a school desk. My sister had one, and I think this is awesome. So I put this in here. And then this was from a children's book, and I didn't want to mess her up, so I just put her in here like this. And this is a vintage Valentine. And this is a fabric tag and a stamped tag. So I kept the one that I messed up. I tend to do that. I'm not going to throw it away, but he's sort of like you're seeing double basically, because I tried to re-stamp to make these holes disappear, and I did not do very well, and he looks like he's vibrating, but that's okay. Yeah, that's my giraffe journal. I cannot wait to write more memories in here, chronicle all of the memories I have of giraffes and just being a kid. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what was your favorite element in this. It will not close, but that's my favorite kind of journal. And I hope all of you have a lovely day. Bye-bye.